everybody, welcome or welcome back. My name is Monique. Welcome to Medora Budgets. I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. It's myself and Sweets, married with a whole bunch of kids, trying to figure out our future, family, and finances. There you go. So the decisions we're making now won't negatively impact us in the future. Today is, let me pull that out. Today is Thursday, October the 9th, and you will see this video on Friday, October the 10th. We are here to do a expense tracking for pretty much this week. So the week of October the 3rd through the 9th through today. I run my weeks from a Friday to a Thursday, and we needed to make sure we capture all of our expenses, which I believe I have. And then we just kind of tally them up, and I'll talk about some things that I am doing after my paycheck budget closeout fiasco. It really wasn't a fiasco, but after that video, kind of how I'm doing things a little bit differently. Not about my tracking necessarily. Well, we'll just talk about it. All right, so we are here. This is my Moterm Traveler's Notebook. Inside of here, I keep my budget insert, and that's the one that you see here. I think, I did not. I was trying to check and see if whether or not I ordered some more inserts, because I feel like I might need another one before this year is out, but we'll see. That'll just be another expense that I have to worry about later on. All right, so we're going to come in a little closer here, just so that you guys can see. So this is BB, and so we'll need to see what has already cleared. So Kindle did clear, and iPro. Both of those have been taken care of. And I already have property insurance taken care of, so we are good. So those are the only two. I expect some more stuff to clear this weekend in preparation for the check that I will receive on the 17th. All right, next we're going to go to my expenses. So here's what I have written down so far as as my expenses are concerned. I told you guys that I did a lot of spending over the weekend, or in this particular paycheck cycle. This also includes October the 2nd, because that Thursday I had a lot of things going on and I wasn't going to be able to reconcile my numbers. And then I got paid on Friday and had spending that I needed to do there. Since I had all of my numbers on my previous paycheck budget already worked out, I didn't want to go in there and start adding some additional stuff and playing around. So instead of having October 3rd as the start of this particular week, we decided to start with October 2nd. And so these are the expenses that you're seeing here. I am proud to say, let me write this down. Yes, honey. Another no spend day. All right. So starting on the 2nd, you'll notice I've had some personal expenses for clothes here under Formal For You, which is the name of the company that we got my dress from. And Sweets is doing his tuxedo rental through in preparation for the class reunion that I have next week. Also, I needed to get some unmentionables. So that's that $80.20 that you see there. And Bean needed some, no, that's Bean. So let's keep on going. So for the bookstore, for the book club, I did need to purchase a book from the bookstore. It was part of the agreement that we had with that particular bookstore. It was that we were gonna come in. They were gonna take us on a tour, talk to us about the different genres, and we'd have some time to just explore and talk and ask any questions. We had a table kind of that we had set up, etc. And a part of that is, hey, we expect for you to buy something. So a few of us actually bought books. And then we actually went and ate at 1942 on the Square, which is located in McDonough as well. So I did have the book purchase as a personal expense. The majority of the purchases that you see here is for food. And that's because with my daughter being out of commission, as she was recovering from the infection that she had that turned sepsis, Bean and I were just out and about. It was very difficult to really get myself together the first few days. So with that said, we ate out a lot, or just had to spend, did not have to, but did spend a lot of money as far as food was concerned. So we had those in here as well. We've only got one gas purchase listed here. And then medical are contacts. My contact prescription and my youngest was running out in 5 days, but our appointment to go to the optometrist isn't until October the 31st. So I did go ahead and order some contacts. That's the $164.97 you see here. And then Bean needed some clothes. He was going to church with me and other places as well. He doesn't really have a lot of like outside clothes just because we try to keep him inside. Just because right now there's a lot of things going on in the environment. So we find it's best just to keep him at home. But he didn't have a choice but to be a role with a kid. So we did have some expenses here. So I spent a lot of money. And I knew that going in that this was going to be a very bit expense heavy week. And it sure enough turned out to be true. And so after all of that, so this was October the 2nd was Thursday. We actually went to the Eric Robeson concert. That was my date night for sweets. And that's why I was busy and I could not take care of like the budget and reconciling the numbers, etc. We had a wonderful time at the concert. It was at City Winery in downtown Atlanta. And it was my date night for him. So I do try to take sweets out at least once. He takes me out all the time, but I do try to take him out like once a month or once every other month just to reciprocate so that he feels the love as well. And so these purchases that you see here are for clothes for that, as well as the food that we got, etc. All right, so I did a lot of explaining just to kind of let you know what was going on in my life during the course of those days from the 2nd to the 5th. So that was that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There was a lot going on. And then Monique stayed in the house because I knew I spent so much money. There was no point in me going out because I knew it was going to cost me some change, and I didn't have any change to spare, as you can see there. All right, all of these purchases were made on the credit card except for these two right here, one for Burger King and one for McDonald's, and that is significant, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But I did mark those off that it was a check. It came out of my checking account and not charged on the credit card. Sweets did give me $100. Corinne gave me $40 that she was due. She was supposed to give me on last Friday. And then she gave me, and Micah gave me his $50. And then Corinne sent me another $40. Now that went to the bills account, but yet still I have it. It's just not a part of my variable spending. So I'll show that to you really quickly over here. And the reason why I have to keep it separate. Remember, I talked about the fact that my inflow is different for the different accounts. And that inflow into accounts determines what the outflow is going to be. For my bills account, everything that I have in there covers my bills and my debt. This $40 that Corinne gave me actually went into that bills account. What I did was I took that out, went to the ATM and took that out. And then over here, I actually put it into my APCU account, which was the $40. That's my joint credit union account that I have with Sweets. And that's where I keep Bean's savings that I have. So I took that money out of the bills account and I put it into here. Why do I need to track that? I need to track that because I needed to make sure I did not add it into my variable spending over here. Because all of the other accounts, variable account, other, Sweets, and sinking fund, take care of most of the bills that are listed over here. So I needed to make sure I keep track that $40 is not going to be reflecting in the variable account. Or, and when I say variable, that's my Chase account or my Cap One. It's both of them together. That's why you have two numbers here. I put $700 into the Cap One, $77.29 into the Chase. So I'm going to put here two accounts. I probably should have done that before. Two accounts make up variable. Okay. And that $40 didn't go to either one of them. But the second $40 that she gave me up here, that one did. And so that is what you see here for the $90. So Micah gave me $50. Corinne gave me $40. That's $90. $90 went into the other. Sweets gave me $100. That $100 went here under Sweets for the week. And then the $40 down here that Corinne gave me, the second one that she owed me, went into the bills account. And then that money was taken out and put into the APCU account. So that money it came in and it went out. It's been accounted for. It's a wash. I have to keep track of that because, again, y'all know I am trying to get to a balanced number, that my rollover and my paycheck closeout is exactly what shows as my rollover in my account before I get paid again. So this is the way that I'm doing that. Okay. All right. So then let's sit here and, 10/9. Today's 10/9. I did spend money here at Amazon. It's for various purchases. I'm going to put those in as miscellaneous, and it was for $103.40 if I'm not mistaken. And that's for Sweets needed some things, Corinne needed some things. It's a multitude of items that needed to be ordered for the home, and they really couldn't wait. And so I went ahead and did that. And so that was $103.40. But I did have 3 no spend days in here, which I think has helped overall and trying to curb some of the spending that I've been doing. So we're going to put a category for food. We'll put one for gas. We'll put one for bean. We're going to put one for home. We will go ahead and put one for personal, I guess. And then we will do one for miscellaneous. All right. So let's count this money up and see where we are. First for personal, because that's the first one listed up here. $808.28. That's for personal. $808.28. All right. Next, we'll do food. Food is $4.17 plus $34.73. $271.58. Okay. Gas is one purchase for $31.44. Bean has 2 purchases. $152.78. Home has 1 purchase for $25.48. Miscellaneous has this 1 purchase for $103.40. And I did see one more, medical, for the contacts. And that had a purchase of $164.97. Alrighty. So let's add all of that together. $271.58 plus $31.44 plus $152.78 plus $158 plus $808.28 plus $103.40 and $164.97 equals, woo, doggy. All right, $1,557.93. Good Lord Almighty, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. All right, so that's a lot of money. So that's what we have. I knew it was going to be a lot. And honestly, if I didn't have all of these expenses for clothes, so if I take away the $520.46, the $185, the $80.20, those are the main ones for personal. I would say I could take away. It would be much better. $772.27. So I know that, number one, I think I've already said this before. I need to get a clothing fund or an occasions sinking fund of some type so that I can start to save money along and along. I knew this was coming. I just did not save for it. And so that's why I'm just kind of dealing with that as it is. All right, the next thing I want to do, okay, so this is part 2 of the video. The next thing I want to do is I want to see where I am right now. So I know how much money I have in each of my accounts. I have $168.43 in the Chase account. I have $451.02. I had 6 there at first, but 2 cents in my Cap One account. When you add that together, $168.43 plus $451.02 equals, I should have $619.45 So I'm going to put that here. Okay. Now, and again, I'm doing this because I'm trying to, I don't want to wait until my paycheck budget closeout to figure out my numbers. I'm going to start doing it at the hash mark, right? At the 1 week hash mark, so that I know I'm on track or I'm not on track. So I can go ahead and reconcile it there instead of waiting until I'm trying to look at the whole 2 weeks together and then getting frustrated and getting upset. So we got everything documented down here. The only thing that I will note, and I will let you know, is that this $40 here hasn't cleared yet. So she sent it and it's still pending. So it does not show as an available amount. So when I start adding up the numbers, just know instead of doing 90 here, I'm going to do 50. But that's because that $40 hasn't cleared yet. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. We have our number mark, $619.45. Now let's see how this all looks. I had in my variable account on October the 3rd, $71.32 between the two accounts. Okay. I added $700 into my cap one. I added $77.29 into the Chase. I got $50 from Micah out of this 90 already. I got $100 from Sweets. And I brought over $111.97 into the variable account to pay for Fubo TV because that's where it hit. So I had $1,110.58 that I'm working with. Okay. Now, what have I done so far for outflow? I paid, so I'm going to do a minus, $220.52 to Ally. I paid $134.48 to Chase Freedom. And then I did another payment of that $111.97 for Fubo when it hit to Chase Freedom. So at this point, I have $643.61. This $40 from APCU, we already talked about that. That matches up with that 40 right there. So that's a wash. When it came to my savings and my sinking funds, usually I contribute from my variable to those. I went with zero. I decided not to give any money to sinking funds, and I've used that money here, that $355, to make these two payments. So there was no money taken out there. Now I'm still off, right? This says $619, this says $643. So remember earlier I said I had a couple of purchases that I actually had as debit transactions. And that's why I have them highlighted here. This was money that actually came out of that Chase checking account. I did not use my credit card. I used credit card for everything else except for these two. So that money came directly out of my bank accounts. I need to subtract that. Minus 906 and minus 1510 equals hot diggity dog, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. All right, that is what I'm talking about. $619.45. So I know my first week, I'm right. Everything that I had come in and everything that I had go out is documented. And the amount that it shows that I have left in my actual accounts is the same amount that this calculator is saying I should have left. So we're good so far. If my number, I know now, if my numbers are jacked up, they'll be jacked up for week 2. Not week 1. Week 1, we are done. So I'm going to put up here, this lasted from 10/2 to 10/9. All of those have been taken care of. We'll do week 2, and then we'll do our paycheck budget closeout. And my hope is that this time around we'll be right, because I am doing it at the midpoint. I am trying to make sure these numbers are looking good. All right, I feel better. Okay, there you go. All right, thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.